Thank you to my commenters who recommended that I do devlogs for my RPGMaker projects. Already, this is a great way to just organize my thoughts, motivate what I'm going to do next. We are working on 2 video games, technically. They may never, exist as final projects, but we are working on 2 video games right now. And creating for the purposes of an audience is always especially fun and motivating to me. So in the Churning Fields. The Churning Fields is, I'm also writing a novella right now called The Churning Fields. It's a whole, you're going to learn about the world building as we talk about this, but it's a very grim, dark fantasy world where most of the Pangea-like continent is either, belted by vicious seas, or else the churning fields themselves, these brutal wheat fields where nothing edible grows, and there's just monsters and starvation behind every corner. And so you have to move through the churning fields to get from town to town. And so the game, without getting too into it, the game follows these, they're assassins, they pretend to be slavers, and they bring someone who is not in on their plan, and then things go wrong, and it sets up all this intrigue and betrayal between the 3 characters. That's not the point. The point is, so in coding the video game, the playable version of this, I found a bug, and it's a reproducible bug. It is a consistent bug in my code, and I'm not sure what's happening. So when I have a event where Sada, that's the traveler, actually in this case, I'm glad I explained it because I need to explain who people are. Sada is the slave who is not in on this assassination attempt. These assassins are bringing her against her will to get close enough to a cruel master, a cruel slaver, who they're going to kill. But she's not in on this. So in the game, you can walk up to her. She's wandering around in the tower part of this map. And you go up there, you talk to her, she immediately agrees to join your party. That's the first quest I've set up, the first kind of thing you have to do is gather Jilan, who is your other fellow assassin, and then the unwitting accomplice. And so the bug in this case, and I already, this is a good, so in events, it's just like code, so it runs one command, then one command, and I had it messed up, so it would add Sada to my party before it removed her event from the map, so you'll see in this footage, there'll be briefly 2 versions of her, but then the weird bug that I can't deal with, I fixed that, is that she will then join my party, but glitched and more than 2.5 people behind. So, it shows your first character, second character, third character, fourth character, but she is there's blank space between her and me, or, first character and second character. There's 2.5 invisible characters, and I have no idea what the deal is with that. But it is consistent now when I recruit her to the party, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Leave it in the comments if you ever heard of this, if the footage reminds you of anything. I've also, in the last video I showed footage, I am glitching out RPGMaker so hard on the Churning Fields because I'm messing with the tile sets, and then those glitch and produce patterns that are sometimes recreatable, sometimes not. Anyway, it's a whole adventure, so leave it in the comments if you have any advice for either tiles glitching out when you try to customize the tiles, or any advice on how to do custom tiles, or specifically on where someone joins your group, your party in the RPG, but they're 2.5 people behind, and there's invisible 2.5 people. Okay, now let's get to Killer Granny. So Killer Granny is the comedy one where I'm just gonna learn how to program in RPGMaker first. We're gonna use all the we're not gonna do any custom art, we're gonna use all the standard art and everything, but we're just gonna tell a crazy fun story. Churning Fields is the art house project where I'm going to try to repaint everything and tell a beautiful story. Killer Granny is just for fun. But so, here's what I'm working on. So, we have this map called the Authority Station. I haven't decided when in time this is set, so we call it an Authority Station. It's like a police station, and the idea is that you go in, you're the Killer Granny. You've body swapped with a crazed killer who was just killed in the electric chair, but because you accidentally dropped a toaster in a puddle, you now body swapped with this killer, and now you're Chucky in the body of a grandma. And so your first quest is you have to go down to Granny's basement and kill your prisoner, and then I've coded this in, you'll see some of this footage. The prisoner is its own set of events where he'll say leave me alone, I said. And then he'll fight you, and I don't have art for that yet. If you see that he suddenly turns into a tree monster when I'm fighting him, it's because I'm using that as placeholder art. But so you kill the prisoner in Granny's basement. I'm not sure yet lore-wise why she already had a prisoner when she just got body swapped with this killer. But I'll have to figure that out in the DLC or something. But so the idea being that you are stuck in the first part of the map, first part of the game. You're stuck in the first part of the game because there's a police station and there's a police cordon where they say, oh, you can't go any farther or something like that. And they turn you away because you're a little old lady. But specifically, if you kill the person in your basement and then collect the trophy of his head and then bring it to the police station and show it, then that'll cause some kind of chaos that lets you proceed in the game. So that's what I'm working on in Killer Granny. It's pretty funny. It's pretty lulzy. Okay, and here's a little tip that I've learned just in early stages of RPG Maker. So when you're painting a map, you want to like paint something on the map that matches to the event so that players know to search for it. You can like, and I'm sorry, I'm old, but like, I think of the early Pokemon games, like if there's a trash can, that's a point on the map. It's one big pixel. It's one big tile. And that like has an item, or the main thing that it comes in is like navigating between maps. So like you have to have a road out of town, or you have to have you'll see on all my maps, I paint like one tile that's a hint to the player that's like, you stand here if you want to go back to the other map. Like you really have to visually imply things with relatively few pixels, which is one of the real joys, I think, which is one of the real challenges and cool things about RPG Maker and like pixel art and things like that is like you really have to be visually provocative in a way that leads your character through the events you're designing. I do think that's all I have for this week. I'm doing a thing. I'm going to work on both video games every Wednesday. I'm going to try to record some audio and post a video over the weekend. So, yeah, leave it some love. Leave it a like or a comment, please. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, because we are trying to build this channel. Allegedly, I'm pretty close to monetization. But, so yeah, no, just thank you all, and look forward to any advice you leave me in the comments. I'll talk to everybody next week.